everybody. Yankee and the Canuck, episode 109 on the Orange Podcast Bad Network. We had a brief group text message because I get bored with them and I'll just set my phone down and then 25 minutes goes by and now I have no idea what's going on. But I was able to follow this group text message and we were talking about, and there was a video that came across on YouTube, a podcast that was basically the conversation was fake news or psyop, and so we're gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna play the 35-minute podcast for you because that's just dumb. But in the opening 3 minutes, hi Edward, hi
Yeah.
JC. In the opening 3 minutes, he starts to break it down, and then it starts to actually travel and make sense. He turns around. There's an old school tube television, and a goldfish is talking to him. You want to do this, or you think this or that. He's talking back, no goldfish, I don't. And you go, well, that sounds a little retarded. And you go, wait, 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 wait. Have you seen television commercials? That's what he's referencing. Is that the goldfish snack is talking to you to make you buy the goldfish snack. Now, that's just clever advertising. What he was getting at is that they can slide in and have slid in all kinds of fake, false information in the guys, in things like medical or political, into advertisements. In the guise of we're just advertising, but they're not advertising a product. They're selling you a thought, a psychological operation. And I thought we'd open up there and just see where it goes. What's up, fellas?
No, hey, I thought that was a great intro. And I don't know about you guys down there, but up here, it's difficult and more difficult every day to get real honest news, what I call news, I mean information, real information. Then as you already stated, the psyops and the propaganda that's just running wild, and everybody I talk to, they don't seem to realize the work it takes to rifle through all this stuff to find out what's actually true and factual and what's not. And I had a friend of mine, actually, it was a friend of a friend. Al said, I got scammed by this AI thing about Warren Buffett, and how much cash he's sitting in. I'm thinking, Al, I was thinking to myself, we've been fighting this, AI stuff and false news for how many years now, guys? Do you even know? Like, that's before the COVID started. We still had so much fake news.
All right. I'm going to break in, but then I want to keep going. I want to answer your question real quick. It was post-World War II when we found out how damn good the Germans were at it. So we imported a bunch of Germans to help us with it.
Well,
Operation Paperclip did not only bring rocket scientists.
No, very true.
It brought the progenitors of Dr. Science, our own Dr. Mengele, and it also brought Herr Goebbels' flock and all of their techniques for use on that brand new TV. And the biggest psyop that I can think of all time, to be honest, is that some guy sitting at CBS in New York City can read you the New York Times at 6 p.m. and that's the news of the day. That's the way it is.
Well, it's fake news psyop, but wasn't the one that really caught everybody's attention was War of the Worlds on the radio? The aliens are invading, and families
everybody
on the radio, and they thought
New Jersey, Groversville, New Jersey.
Yeah. But you know what? That's another case of not getting the full story. Just accidentally just turning it on.
It was clever. I'm not mad at him for doing the show, War of the Worlds, but everybody was psychological operations into going, oh my God, we need to start packing where do we even go?
Okay, let me ask this. When you go for an evening of entertainment and you go to a show, the a Broadway play. I mean, the purpose
Yeah.
of the play is to make you feel things. It's to manipulate your emotions. That's how you end up pulling for the protagonist or something like,
Yeah.
your sense of fair play. It appeals to your internal emotions and your worldview. And where we went off the rails is when the people who were doing those appeals started deciding to shape that.
Yes.
And yes, that's actually what we're talking about when we talk about psyops from the government. Is there in and we can go all the way down the line to modern day, and I this is a hobby horse of mine, where the CIA, I know, spends all this time in foreign countries preying upon the least stable human beings in those nations so they can get a pop up demonstration to pressure the government to enact U.S. intel agency interests in the global game of chess.
And we sell that to Americans in the guise of nation building. We're going to go
Yes.
over and bring them
Mhm.
capitalism and free them from the bondage of living 500 years in the past. And the, we've already talked about how those nations don't want it, but they do.
Oh.
Revolutions come up, and I will bring you to 2014 in Ukraine
Oh,
when
yeah.
protesters all
Mm.
showed up with well printed signs that all had the same messaging in Ukrainian, right?
Mhm.
And they overthrew the government. And then you got to go, wait, didn't I just see that for the last 10 years inside of America?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Or
You know
didn't
what really
didn't I
bothers me?
didn't I see that in the Arab Spring? Wasn't
Right.
that the same thing?
You know what's really
Yes.
fascinating, though, people? When you take on in the CIA and all its work, when you've taken over a country or helped it or supported to become a better country or an anti-communist country, they always turn it into a democracy, not a republic. Why is that? Why wouldn't they say, "Hey, you know what? Democracies just don't work. It's a very socialist system. Let's be a Republican." Why don't they do that? Never. They've always been
I
turn them
love
into
I love you. I love you, Edward. That's the psyop itself is saying that. That
Yes.
but
you're appealing to the US citizen's sense of fair play, that everyone should want the blessings of liberty, what you're doing is exporting the globo homo agenda to absolutely destabilize a regime and enact influence with the least manpower and resources possible to get the job done. Destabilizing the government.
I
And
know.
you gotta add a bonus there. That's how you psyop the American people into giving up more tax dollars to pay
Oh
for it.
God.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
You know, you could do
right.
that. You could do
Oh,
that.
we're spreading democracy. We're
Yeah.
nation building. We're gonna free them. We'll bring them capitalism and a democracy. And all of the white liberal women go,
No God. Yeah.
yes, raise my taxes another 2%.
Hey, fair. Yes, I'll pay more taxes for that. That sounds wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking, even a constitutional monarch like us who still give lots of money away to these doughhead operations, if you
I,
want to
yeah,
call it that.
I get as a percentage of GDP that you might, but you got to look at what's like in the world. The dollars come from the States
Oh yeah,
taxpayers,
Of course
of
they
course.
all of
do.
them. Like 90% of the dollars
Of
come from the
everything.
United States.
I've always said, and I get this from a 1950 something broadcast from one of our networks, that when America's in trouble, nobody's going to help them. America helps everybody out in every country that needs it. But who's going to be there for America when it needs it? Nobody. You already know
Ever.
that, don't you, gentlemen?
Donald
Nobody's
Donald
coming for you.
Donald Trump Donald Trump is going to be there for America when America needs it. That's the answer.
Well, I hope
And
that's
well,
true.
no, that's what he's trying to do. I mean, he rebalanced world trade in 3 to 4 months with his tariffs.
Let's just hope that
And
keeps rolling. I hope.
well,
It's not as bad as like again. So psyop. The psyop is out there in the Western media that Trump hasn't had any wins when
Mm,
he's had like hundreds of massive wins in
Yes.
this first year. Massive wins.
And these ankle biter district judges who keep getting overturned get all the headlines that they're stopping Trump, and they're not.
I
They're
know.
not. Now,
I,
there's been a couple of situations where they did, but even on the tariff thing, it looks like the Supreme Court's going to say he can't just, declare he's going to charge China 100% tariff. And okay, Sean, Edward, Gorsuch, I like Gorsuch. Good judge. Probably the best outside of Scalia and Alito and Thomas, okay?
Korea, yeah.
But he asked a really good question in that hearing. What about if the president declares a climate change emergency and puts 1,000% tariff on somebody to stop the importation of these cars or something like that? Do you want to give the president that kind of power? And everybody
No, no,
goes,
no, 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 that's a good
"Oh,
wait, hold on, that's a good question, but that's not a constitutional question because the question should be, does the executive have the
have that
ability
power."
to use emergency powers to
Right.
levy tariffs against another nation that is threatening America? And the threat to America is the loss of business and jobs because we can't sell. And there was this has changed because of Trump, but think about
Yeah, he's
countries
changed
in
everything.
Europe. Think about countries in Europe. Think about countries. Think about Japan, where
Never
Ford,
never sold
who
a car
had
there
the
until now. Yeah.
best-selling pickup truck in the planet, couldn't sell Ford F-150s inside of Japan. And Trump said, "Hey, you know what? We got a problem. 1,000,000% tariff until you let Ford open up a plant in Japan."
It's
And
more than just Japan, though.
Japan went, yes, sir.
Nope, I'm saying it's more than just Japan, though.
Oh,
It's
I'm aware.
It's
and
everybody. I
I'm
mean,
sick and tired.
one of the worst nations is Canada, for God's sake.
Telling you,
True.
it's true. Because we have a matriarch here, not even a patriarch. We
It
don't
kind
even
of
have
took the air out of the program.
huh?
It kind of took the air out of it. Took the air out of the program. Yeah.
No, we can pump those tires back up. Canada is one of the worst, and you know what? I can't handle any more people supporting United Nations, thinking that if United Nations says it's gospel, it's the way we got to go, it's the direction. I can't stand United Nations, as Sean already knows. I've been against them for God, I don't know how long now. But then I always talk about because I can't stand those communist libtards over there sitting up there and dictating to our policy in our country because we don't really follow our own. We don't have, well, the guy we got now he's a European and he's all for United Nations. So we're just following anything that United Nations wants for us. Mass immigration, you got it. If you want just from one country, you got it. Wait a minute. What about having immigrants from all European like we used to? Nope, nope. It's got to come from one country, India. Why not the other? Nope, it's got to be, this is the stuff we got to put up with this. And we want to talk about psyops. Okay, JC, what? You have to put your
No, but I mean the psyop in the news is there isn't even 1 out of 100 people in the United States who knows that the United States funds the invasion of itself through the money they give to the UN. The UN sponsored the
Oh, yeah,
entire thing. And
that's
and
why
and our Congress knowingly appropriated those monies and paid for it
I got
because
to.
that's what our intel agencies wanted.
I
You
was
talk
never
about a
so.
psyop.
I
You
know.
talk about it. Yeah.
I was never so happy when Trump said he was going to, defund United Nations and hopefully take
Still
care of.
hasn't happened. He's still
Hasn't done it.
he's
Well,
joining one of the boards of directors at the United Nations as some sort of something something. And I'm
hope
looking at that going, wait just a second. I think I know where you're going, Mr. President, but you could just defund it and not even have to waste your time.
yeah, it'll fall almost. Well, it'll take a while because there is other countries like mine still supporting
Edward,
them. Huh.
Edward, you are a connoisseur of the curmudgeon X Hall of Fame for accurate and sarcastic tweets. How many times have you seen the curmudgeon retweet someone making an announcement that someone is preparing to do something that they should so clearly do and say, quit talking about it and
I
do
know.
it?
I love those tweets.
Uh,
And just do it.
Stop talking. We know that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, apologize later if you must, but do it.
Yeah, you know what? Uh, the only reason Trump is in office today is because America went with him. And all this other noise we hear going on nonstop is jerkwater, nothingness. Get it out, stop it already. But you got Midas and or the medias and whatever that other program is, the libtards. Oh my God, the spin they put on things is unbelievable. And people, hey, it's on the news. It's got to be true. Oh my gosh, it kills me every time I see that. But these other and the Huffington Post. Have you guys heard any stories from that
The
district?
Of
Oh my
course. Well, you gotta
God.
understand, like, and I'm sure you do. That's why we're talking about it. And the curmudgeon, I'm sure, does this. That they are very clever in the way that they do this, and they do it
Yes.
for age groups. They
Well,
do it for gender groups. They of course do it for race groups. They of course do it for uh, fetish groups. Let's just call them fetish groups. And
might as well.
and so when they do their show, even though it's only got a million people watching in a country of 350 million plus 40 million illegals, 390 million. So they'll do the show, and then they know they captured that group because that's exactly what that group believes they should be hearing from that daytime talk panel show on whatever channel it is. I'm not picking on one; I'm picking on all. And then
They're
they go,
they're
"Well,
all
the
just
young people don't watch this shit, so we're just going to take a 32-second clip from the show and post it on TikTok."
right.
And we'll have the comment on there, "See
And
why Donald Trump hates you?"
Yeah,
yeah,
Or even worse, Donald Trump is in the pedophile files 1,800 times.
I know. I
and then
know.
the Chinese tweak the algorithm, and everybody sees it at the
It
top of the hour every day.
goes to 11. It's like the Max
Yeah,
Out commercial.
that's right. Turn up the volume. Yeah.
Yeah, turn down the
Whereas
conservative. You
all of our insightful tweets, this show and everything else are sitting there buried in the bowels of the internet somewhere, even though this is where you can actually get the truth.
True. Yeah, I've seen that. Well, actually, I'm not the only one. I've noticed that so many people have chimed in on X, in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, a lot about being shadow banned or just like you said, just no reach whatsoever. Just like they're just squashed, and you get maybe 5 or 6 people getting the word out to, and everybody else nothing.
Yeah, but are they also posting questions like, what do you think the color purple tastes like?
Yeah, no, these are
Because those are
annoying.
super fucking annoying,
Oh, aren't
and
they?
and Grok is going to crush those people, and
I
all
hope
those
so.
people that do that stuff, that make a gazillion dollars because they really do from their engagement, are going to find out in a couple of months that nobody really likes that content, and it's going to hopefully reduce their they will be the ones that are shadow banned.
Yeah,
I
it,
saw
it
the,
should be.
cynical. We talked about cynical Publius. We saw his payouts,
I
and
love that account.
those are decent. But just imagine what a clown like Gunther Eagleman is getting
Yeah,
for engagement. What,
I have no idea.
tenfold, 20
tenfold?
20
Yeah,
grand a
20
month.
20 grand a month.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't
No
doubt
wonder he
that.
did.
Well, no,
No
no,
wonder he
20
didn't.
grand a pay
No,
period. I will tell you, pay periods on X. I once was monetized. I made a total of $84, and then they nuked me. It's fine.
yeah,
I'm not mad. I'm not
you're
complaining. I'm still on X. But
you're
so
subversive.
the program. is it's every 2 weeks basically.
Yeah.
So if he was getting 2,000 or 2,300 every 2 weeks, then Gunther Eagleman's making 40 grand a month because 20 grand times 2 per month.
Hmm.
Think about that. 40 grand a
No
month.
wonder.
And then you go, well, no, this gets into uh, the people that, if you really wanted to make this stop engaging with Harry Session.
No,
Stop
no.
engaging with the grass and needs. And I've said this over and over for years because you get paid or they get paid from your rage posts.
I
Now,
know.
Like like F you, Harry, or you're stupid, or you're a little kid, or you're a foreigner. Every
mhm.
time you post something, he goes, cha-ching.
JoJo's
Yeah,
from
no,
Jersey.
I just I blocked those clowns. I once I figured out the game there, the
Yeah.
You could
Krasensteins, I don't even see them anymore.
Well, those
No,
kids.
I
Oh
just
my
block
God.
them.
Yeah.
And what Harry Sisson? You got to be kidding! I don't want to see that crap. I mean, the guy's mouth never stops moving. You know,
He's
just
10
just.
years old. Who's going to listen to that kid anyways? He's
I
an
mean,
idiot.
I still love the videos of the 40-yard dumpster of manure being dumped over his head. That shit is awesome. All right, you know,
The fact that
so
Trump posted that video on Truth, that he grabbed the
yeah.
video and posted on Truth, was hilarious. But
I know.
any of you that are listening live, and you're like, I'm gonna get the Krasensteins or JoJo or any of them.
No,
You're not gonna get them in the
No.
you're
they
gonna
don't
make
even
them
read that
wealthy.
shit. They
Yeah.
only
Not only
read a
that,
few.
they're
They read
also
a few to respond to it to build the number. Well, like you heard the numbers we're talking about. If Cynical Publis can make 2 grand every 2 weeks, imagine what a mega account like Harry Sesson makes every
Yeah.
2 weeks. Because he posts something and all you do is drop a "you're a retard"
Right.
and he gets paid. This is how social media works. If
But that,
you really wanted it
Sean,
to go away, you would just stop replying to these accounts.
but isn't that how all media works?
Yes.
Media is absolutely the most corrupt thing. When you look at those salaries that those late night hosts have pulled down, when you look at what happens to your cable bill, when you know the way it all gets divided up, and there's winners and losers, and people who do nothing that get paid a fortune, and people who are providing all the content and doing great work, and they're starving. I mean, look at the polling industry right now, and that's not just social media. That's polling as a business. The campaigns will pay handsomely for good polls,
correct. Yeah. Uh,
but to be a pollster of the people and to give us honest information, there's no money in it because you're not gonna influence anybody. You're just gonna tell them the truth. So Edward, the lesson of your podcast here is that lying pays.
well, it's true, and it pays handsomely well. But remember, I always post, I say, what do you mean crime doesn't pay? Of course crime pays. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. And they don't get caught because it's allowed now. It's not against the law. Remember, I was saying, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago on some show, we talked about how school systems, it's in the Constitution. They can't teach anything that's not scientifically factual, and yet they still do it. No one's taking them to court. And the same
Really
goes with
close.
the
So
newscast.
global warming is
Wow,
scientific, huh?
I,
Yeah.
I know that's absolutely, yeah. That's one
Wait,
thing that they shouldn't be
is
talking
there a
about.
single school child in America today? And there wasn't. I will tell you, there wasn't. When I went to school, which was not today, it was a long time ago. That
Not as
knows
long as me.
that
Or
knows
me.
that knows the name William Bradford.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's coming up too.
I no. We'll get to that. But is there a single Western child that's in school at K through 12? Let's go. That knows from schooling the name
Yeah.
William Bradford, but and he's the one of the most important figures in Western history. Why
Hey,
why aren't they talking about him in history class?
I read some of the. I think it was JC that posted that one script there. What is being taught today in the school systems in the primaries, I believe, and yeah, that's not even close to reality. I don't even know where they get some of this stuff from, but that's not reality as far as what really pulled things together and started kicked off.
Well, yeah, the Indians,
Basically,
they came over, the Indians saw that they were cold and hungry and starving and had no idea how to plant a crop in the ground, even though they've existed in Europe in the same climate for 3,000 years. And so
right.
the Indians came over, gave them a big hug, and said,
Yeah,
we love you, white people.
that's
Let us
exactly what
provide
I
you
know.
food. Let us provide
And,
you
and,
with
it,
food.
and then in exchange, the white people killed them and gave them VD. That's
I know this was going on in the school
That's
system.
the
I'm telling
story.
you.
That's
Oh
the
my.
story that's taught in school. We're
Uh-huh.
laughing because we know the actual story, but
Yeah.
that's the story they teach in schools. Yeah.
And that's why we got to get rid of the school system. Trump is correct in saying, let's just take it down, take it apart, get rid of it, because what they're teaching and preaching out there that kids actually believe, because it came from my teacher, of course. No, and I think we all suffered
If
that
the
when we went through school,
public
the
school
nonsense.
systems, hold on, the public school system will still exist. What Trump is doing is taking the federal dollars away
Yeah,
from it and sending it back to the states, much in the same way he's got a thought, he's got an idea. JC, I've talked to you about this. He has an idea, he hasn't formed it yet, that he's going to send money back to first I can say, why did he take it from us to begin with, but send people's money back to them so that they can negotiate their own health care and not be stuck with the ACA. This is the same thing that he's
wonderful.
doing with the education department, as he's saying, you know what, Indiana, Missouri, Texas, California, I don't care. You're going to get your own money back. It's going to go to the citizens, and they're going to decide how they want their school systems. They're going to decide how they want their health care. We're going to, a libertarian idea, take government out of it, especially the federal government.
Yeah, because
I,
too much.
I would look. They talk about the separation of church and state. I would love to separate school and state.
Yeah,
I'm
and
honestly,
healthcare and state, all of it.
just just brutal. And if you want to, here's my thumbs. If you want to turn the thumb screws to the wall behind me and say, I want you to say something mean about Trump. You never say anything bad about Trump. You just a support. You're just a Trump hog.
50-year mortgage.
Trump, Trump is far too moderate. That's my criticism of him, is that he's got great instincts, but he acts on them too rarely. I hear him verbalize the solution, and I go, "Yeah, do that." And we don't. We move the needle a little bit, but the way to settle down the border crisis at the very beginning, I know we're pretty far afield now, was just put them on buses and send them to Nancy Pelosi's vineyard. That's exactly what you need to do to stop it.
We
As
did
soon
that
as you
once
make the
already,
elites,
or
as
he
soon as
did.
you make the elites uncomfortable, then the law changes. I mean, the day that I flirted with the DeSantard was the day he sent the flight to Martha's Vineyard. I got a chubby over that. Honestly, watching those illegal Venezuelans in Martha's Vineyard and watching the reaction of the sanctuary city in Martha's Vineyard, I mean, they didn't even last 24 hours there,
No,
and then they kicked them out. They used the military to get them out of there. I'm like, that's exactly what should have been done to stop the border invasion in the infant days. Send them to the big boys right next door. I'm
yeah,
so glad you decided to house illegals at your vineyard, Nancy. Yes, there's a spark of divinity among them. Here they are. They want you to take care of them. You and
and
Gavin.
they're so
That's
they
you
propagate
you
this.
you, you mock you mock them. That's what you got to do. That's how the message gets across. Tim Pool calls it a culture jam. Primetime 99 Stein is great at that. Goes to those school board meetings and then
No,
you say, yeah,
someone's got
that
to
dude
do
is
that,
ate
though.
up, and he's just going on and on, and it's a bunch of BS, and they're all just looking at him, and he kills them every time. It's
You
great.
know,
I would like to see Trump do more of that. I
I
mean,
Well,
he's a
wait,
great troll.
real quick, is did they not learn something from Rush? Rush is always use the phrase, "We use absurdity to point out the absurd,"
Right.
which is where
Illustrating
Alex Stein fits
absolutely.
in.
illustrating absurdity by being absurd.
Yes.
That's just good reasoning right there. This is to this, is that is to that. So yeah, it makes good sense. I want to say, Sean, we've got to go back into the conversation where remember a long time ago we were talking about having state funding schools, healthcare, get rid of the federal funding. That way we can compete against different states. Say some states are doing it good and knocking it out of the park. Everybody wants to go to that school. Well, of course, you're going to move there, and the other state is going to lose resources, people, because that school, that healthcare system is so much more superior. Of course, we're going there. Why are we sticking in this libtard state?
If you
And I
take
think,
the funding and the threat of losing funding away from the federal government, you create competition. And so parents, and this is,
yeah,
I've told you this for a couple of years now, young parents will make the decision to move to a different state that
Yes.
has the school system that they want to be in, this type of state school system. And then they will dial down even farther and go, well, what school district do I want to live in? It creates competition.
I
Competition
do it, guys.
is
I would do it.
capitalist. You can do capitalist type things with taxpayer dollars like school systems. You just have to free it from the federal government and let the states make that choice. And when everybody in California that can afford to move to Idaho because they have school age kids, and they're like, this is a way better school system. They will move, right? So not everybody moves, not people that don't have school age children, but it creates this competition amongst the states, and it also creates competition in the school between school districts inside of a state.
And don't forget that healthcare system. I think state run, is a better way of going about it. Never mind the federal; it should be state run.
Citizen run.
Well, yeah, citizen run.
No, no, don't citizen
City,
run.
state.
Just go back. JC, jump in here. Remember 25 years ago when a 20-year-old man could just get catastrophic health insurance for
Yes.
25 bucks a month? Jump in.
Yes.
I
No, I mean, the whole idea of insurance is you're insuring against something that is unlikely to happen, and the distortion in the healthcare market is legendary. And the in the final crowning achievement was the ramming through of Obamacare, which was the final nail in the coffin for third party payer. And if you insulate people from the cost of things, there is an unlimited demand. And there are people there are people that I call doctor people. Now I never want to think that someone shouldn't go to the doctor if they think they should, but I don't think I should have to pay for it. No, I mean, yeah, of course
uh,
you should have access to medical treatment, and the insurance or whatever program. I mean, you can even do. There's, uh, oh God, uh, chiropractors or general practitioners. They'll offer you unlimited visits for $1,500 a year. There's all sorts of models that you could use to do
remember,
this, and the government itself can allow you to keep the difference that you don't spend in a savings account, and that will govern prices better than anything. I mean, my ex-mother-in-law, if you'd have turned her loose on x-rays, they would have been as cheap as pocket calculators because she'd grind them. Oh, no, 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 no! I can get that for $19 down the street, and everyone said, "Oh well, people aren't going to do that." The hell they aren't. If
I
And they
you
know.
if
will.
you if you let them keep what they save, they'll do anything.
And that's why we got to knock out the bigger insurance companies and have more smaller guys get into the picture instead of just having a few control
Yes.
everything and put it back up to competition again, where all the insurance companies are having to kick at the cat rather than just a couple big ones. That's where I'm just ticked off
Well,
by the whole thing. Uh,
Obamacare created a monopoly in the healthcare system, not just insurance. So when you look at states, like just pick a state and then go, hey, there's two major hospital networks, and I'm stuck with the one that my insurance company provides me with. So now I'm not allowed to shop, shop for price or shop for a better opinion, shop for something that's going to be better for my family. They took shopping out of it. They said, you get socialized healthcare that we're going to provide for you. And you don't have a choice. You go to whatever we tell you to go to. And if you want a second opinion, screw you. You're
I
going to
know.
pay a premium on that. And so, like, ultimately, Trump's forming this idea. Trump's idea, though, will get you to that will open the healthcare market up. So all the doctors, all the nurses that we've talked to for the last
Hmm.
5 years on the internet and done spaces with, and they were like, they were doing some sort of alternative. Stop! It's not a scary word. Healthcare, and they were treating people in the way they wanted to be treated, and doing it for almost nothing because there was no other option
Right.
for them. This is going to open all them up so that they all of a sudden they're going to have a flood of customers. And that, hold on, and then that will all of a sudden these mega uh, hospital corporations. There's two per state usually, are going to have to go, well, what the fuck do we do? Because everybody's going
Oh, you're right.
independent right now. And if they need a surgery, their independent surgeon is booking the surgery room at our hospital. And we
Right.
can't bill them other than billing them for the room for the hour.
Thank God. And this is where we have to end up. I wonder why all the Democrats aren't saying, hey, we made a big mistake with this so Barry Sorrentino health care bill. Uh, and
You
Big
are
Mike,
you are so sweet and innocent. It's hard to. I mean, I just love you. It's hard to characterize how nice you are. I mean, they're
I'm not that.
screwing us, Edward. That's the idea. That's why they're doing it.
I know, but you got to wonder why, all Democrats, citizens are saying, we made a big mistake. Let's just, admit we're
Come on,
wrong.
The
man.
psyop. The psyop is that you need a universal health care. Everybody on the planet needs universal health care. The
Uh,
psyop
I
coming back
know.
around to the title.
And the biggest psyop of all, experts know best.
Oh God, yeah, the ones that. Hey, I love that whenever these new news stories come out, sources say, or professionals say, or experts. What experts? I want names. I don't want to hear, my sources. Well, who's that? Is that the Dr. Seuss? I want to hear who it is that we're listening to. That you're giving us all this great advice from. No, I want to have names. Never mind sources say, or these experts are saying. No, I'm sick of these so-called school kid experts that are 17 years old trying to run, the whole entire country because you don't know, as you already know, nothing. So yeah, I want names so I can hold them accountable, and hopefully jailable at the end of it all. That's what I want. I want
What
real
a,
life names.
well, you want okay, you want reality.
Yeah.
Obamacare, since we talked about it, was sold as insurance coverage for everyone.
I
Okay, and
know.
what it really was a welfare program where Obama's constituents benefited from the labor of others. Just yet another layer of Medicaid. That's what it ended up being. I mean, the idea that you've got someone paying $60 for a premium on a bronze plan or whatever. I mean, look, I was sitting there paying the freight for a group plan, and there are three people and it's $1,200 a month,
You're
or
afraid.
more. or
Love that.
3,000 by the time it was, I finally went to Medishare and said, fuck it. I seriously, I mean, I'll take my chances.
I've been saying the same thing about the school system. I don't have kids that are riding the school bus. Why am I paying for school buses on my taxes? I don't even have any kids riding this. That went out the window a long time ago. Why are we still paying? Like, so this is why I'm saying, we got to divide this stuff up and get right down to the bones of the whole thing so it's fair for all taxpayers, not just all thrown in some communistic basket. That's what I want, and get away from the federal nothing, because anything the government touches is just garbage anyways. It goes to, too much corruption. We already know.
You're using their language.
Huh?
Yeah.
You're using their language.
The psyop is
You're
so
using their
strong.
language.
You're
The
talking
psyop's
like them.
screwed into your brain. Let's make it fair for all.
Yeah.
Thank you, socialists.
Yeah. You know what?
No. You said in their language, their words.
It's true.
Let's make it fair for all. There is no fair for all. And I'm not being mean.
Well, no, you know what?
No. I'm not being mean when I
They
say
want
that.
equal. It can't be equal. It's not fair. They want equality. There's no fairness in equality.
What do they mean when they say fair?
They're trying to say equal. They're all for equality, and I'm thinking, no, you cannot have fairness with equality.
You can still
equal. You can make it fair, but you can't make it equal. That's where Paul found.
The Catholic cult can still pay for the poor's health care. The rest of us are out.
The Catholic what?
The Catholic cult.
Catholic cult. Well, now, Edward, let's get started on Catholic charities and Pope Leo and funding the invasion.
I don't have all night.
And all the rest of that. You want to talk about a psyop?
I know.
The idea that these people spontaneously came here because of oppression in their home. No, they're paid. Okay, and they're all acting like that's not what's going on, and that's exactly what's going on. We're funding our own invasion, and I mentioned to you that even Trump doesn't say it like that, and he should.
Yeah, and we should be saying the same thing up here too, because exactly the same thing's going on here, where we're paying for people to come. What do we mean paying for them? If they can't make it here, they're not coming. We don't. That means they have no pennies to their pockets, no skilled trades. They're living off the streets or in these dumps in India, and we're taking or in jail, and we're taking all these people in.
They're here to suppress wages, the same way that the Indian H-1B degree factories are here. Where Larry Fink and the gang has got the tech bros set up to hire Indian computer analysts at $40,000 a year, when to get an American kid to do it would cost him $160, and the Indian has to stay and take the abuse for 5 years because they get the green card that's subsidized by guess who? All of us, right? And Larry and the boys at BlackRock divide up the spoils, and we get stuck holding the bag for the green card, the chain migration, the welfare, and every other damn thing that comes with importing the third world.
I still think, some of those colleges are outstanding. I've seen the way some of these CDL drivers drive. They're knocking it out of the park. What can Brown do for you today is what I'm saying. It's outstanding.
Holy crap.
I love you, man.
I'm just saying, some of the educational programs out there, as you said already, really are up to snuff. It's more of a game and a con than anything. And I think our government knows that, but they're not telling the people that.
Edward, they run the con. That's the point. They think they know it. Shit, they engineer it. I mean, come on,
I would not be surprised if that's true. This is happening. This isn't just accidental. No coincidence here. No, I think you're right.
This is the system. This is the system. This is why people vote for Trump.
No, I think you're right.
He's the one guy who's not captured. You hear that Ted Cruz is running for president. Israel first.
Well, you know what? I think that Pam Blondie, from what we talked about earlier at the beginning of the whole show here. I think, if she does it, lay the law down and go and actually do what she's supposed to do, which Trump said about a couple months ago. Just crickets from her. We got to have something coming, and nothing was coming out
Do
of that
we?
office whatsoever. So hopefully, oh,
Do we?
There actually has been numerous prosecutions. Yes, what I like more, but again, so like this is a psyop where we go. Pam Bondi's done nothing, and she has not done nothing. We would like to see her do more. So no, Edward, hold on. Like, there's been a lot of prosecutions under Pam Bondi, and
Yes,
her FBI has been arresting all kinds of child
all kinds
traffickers.
of people.
He's gotten 4 of the top 10 most wanted, Kash Patel has. I know, counterfeit
Crime is way
cash,
down. Crime
and
is way down.
yeah, like, so, and this is again, it's a psyop in the West delivered by the socialist progressives that
what?
see Trump hasn't done anything for you, which is bullshit.
We know that's
And
not right.
we need to point out all of the good stuff that happens. JC, go ahead.
He has done plenty, and there's no question that he's far superior to probably anyone not named JD Vance, okay? And that's okay, but Cruz or any of these other people, you're just back to a bushy, warmed over Mike Pence type. Who needs it? That's not going to cut it. And Mark Mitchell is onto that. He says, look, he says Gen Z and the younger millennials, they want action. I mean, they see this is screwed up, and there's got more has to be done. And the idea that some judge is going to spring Comey now,
Oh
and
God.
and yeah, and, they try to set you up for that, or that Latucus James is going to get away with it. I mean, you got Eagle Ed Martin in there now, and he's the one, the Diogenes with his lamp. He found Eagle Ed Martin as a prosecutor, and Eagle Ed will actually charge a big name. I mean, he's a modern day Ken Starr, but it's tough to make it stick when they've got a lot of friends in high places.
Oh,
I mean,
that's the thing right there.
in the rear view mirror, doesn't Ken Starr look like a giant? I mean, he actually brought charges against a Democrat.
Yeah, that was like what,
Right?
30 years ago. How long was
I
that?
mean, it
Remember?
went down in flames, but he did it. I mean, he
Mhm.
did his duty.
Yep.
Well,
He
I
like
mean,
a
look at him compared to Bill Barr.
Bill Barr. Oh my God.
Oh my
That
God,
guy's
any of
just
these people. Who
yeah.
was the AG? Who was the AG for Bush? Do you even know?
Nope.
Can anyone name him? He didn't do anything, or
Don't know.
she,
Why
whoever
would he?
the hell it was.
Can't even think of it.
Well, but
None.
because up until the end of Barack Obama's term, they kept politics pretty quiet.
Yes,
It was very loud in their actions, but it was not reported upon by the media,
right. Because the
right?
media
Did
doesn't.
anybody talk about Obama drone striking American citizens on foreign territory in the media?
It was a
I
How
think
did you
droner in
find out
chief.
about it? You found out about it from some obscure website,
yeah.
Yeah,
probably called the Drudge Report at the time,
I can't believe
that you
America
found out
fell
about
for
it.
that dumb that oh God, that guy irks me something terrible, Barry. And yet America seems to have voted him in
Oh, Barry
20
DeSoto?
seconds.
You
Huh?
don't like Barry DeSoto?
No, I don't.
Barry Soetoro.
Is it? Yeah,
Satoro,
Squirrel.
Satoro.
With this. No, I do not. I can't stand the guy. He's a complete
The
fraud.
Kenyan, the
Everything that he
Kenyan,
stood for,
the
he was opposite.
Kenyan communist.
Yeah, no, truly was a communist. But yeah, such
Oh,
a
hell yeah, he's a
liar.
communist.
What's that?
Well, it's my belief that he's also a Muslim.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
a
Uh, so
yeah.
Christian. Chose to be a
Is there
Muslim.
any question?
yeah,
And, and,
well,
and I mean,
so
I
well, it
mean,
is a
we could.
question because I think that Gen Z has no idea about that, and I don't really expect them to because their
I don't
media,
care.
whatever they consume media on, doesn't talk about it. Their schools don't talk about it. They don't talk about honest American history or American politics, even in high school. They prop him up still as this godlike figure. And what's funny is that the rest of the world just looks when Barry comes out and does these campaign things. They're like, why the fuck
No.
did you drag that super old guy out?
Yeah. And yeah. Hey, I got to say this though. Uh, how do we stop this? How do we get one program, one station, one something, and that is pro anti garbage? I don't want to use the word BS, but I'm going to have to because there's so much of it out there. You got to stick with some program or station that's going to just give it the way it is, real news, which means facts, and not guesswork, and not just because someone paid us a whole bag of money to say what they want us to say. How come we can't start going in that direction instead of taking, as a matter of fact, the churches is what did that back a long time ago. They kept things straight. Now the churches are non-existent, and now what's going on now? Well, everybody's got to, kick at the can and say whatever they want because their voice counts too. Uh,
Edward,
yeah.
I've heard there's this show called Orange Podcast Bad that claims to
That's
do
only one.
exactly that.
That's just one show. We need so many more, and it
No,
doesn't
we
have
only
to
need the one. We just everybody needs to watch it.
be.
And,
And
and then, and then
There you go.
no, here's what happens from that.
we got
The
to break through the white
conversation
noise.
starts
Yeah,
because people
yeah.
will start talking about it all over different social medias. Did you hear what they talked about on Orange Podcast Bad? Did you hear they talked
Yeah.
badly about Barry?
Yeah.
They right, but well then people are going to tune in and say, "What did they say bad about Barry?"
But he's a
Right?
fraud.
That's
He's a
how.
complete fraud.
Uh,
That's what we-
so
Sean,
this is the
you
place.
brought
That's
up
the point.
you you brought up something, Sean, that I think deserves amplification earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to do it.
All right, let's hear it.
When you listen to dominant media at all, and we can't avoid it, you hear it from time to time just because it's on in the background or it's a break
Everywhere.
at a ball game or something like that. Somebody will break in with some headlines. You'll notice that if it's a certain kind of story, it shows up in the Atlantic. The stuff where they want to influence elite opinion on Manhattan Island. And
Oh,
then there's a poll, and the way they phrase the poll question, and then who they sample, and they oversample Democrats, and everything is crafted to shape the story. And
Of course.
and they study the segments of where it needs to go. And Sean's point about how you're not going to take that Atlantic article and put it on TikTok. Hell no, you're going to give it to some rapper, or you're gonna do this with it, or he's going to say, or Charlemagne the God is going to come up with some idiot question, or something like that, and then all of a sudden there's blazing headlines everywhere, or it might be the hen house on the View, spouting off to get to the Jewish girls on the Upper East Side. I
well,
mean
one quote I remember directly, but keep going. One quote I remember directly from the Atlantic, I believe, was "There's MAGA's starving children with the shutdown."
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, no,
KG. KG him too, probably.
right. Unified message, but through all different segments. And they throw those finger-like projections out everywhere to try to shape the whole. And the reason that Trump, at the same time that he frustrates me for being a little too moderate, the reason that Trump is dangerous is he breaks through that. Because you can get the hens on the View to start bitching, or you can get the Yentas on the Upper East Side to all agree on whatever it is, or you get Bruce Springsteen to denounce Trump because he doesn't get it, or Charlemagne to call him a racist, and they all just look old, tired, and worn out because Trump is a bigger celebrity than they are, and he's cooler. All right,
Oh.
and it that's why he's so lethal to them. That's why they fear him. That's why you've had a 10-year shitstorm of trying to discredit him that continues to this day. I mean, it never stops ever. And this Epstein stuff is just the latest. I mean,
Yeah.
it might be the most ridiculous thing of all. I mean,
Well, man, the brutality that goes along with that,
he's
you
the,
can't
he
escape.
threw he threw the son of a bitch out of his club, and the guy's an elite guy with money, all right? And then he helped the feds prosecute him. And you're
Mm-hmm.
still going to try to say, oh, yeah, Trump diddled the kids. We didn't. He was diddling the adults. It's been
Uh-huh.
well documented who Trump was diddling, and it
Right?
wasn't young girls.
And and that's what ticks off the media the most because they know they're complicit. They know
Oh, no,
they're
no.
attached to
No,
all
no,
this.
no,
He still
no.
got a supermodel in
It
his
doesn't tick
80s.
off the media. They're gonna continue to run with it, and here's what's gonna happen with the release. You said you wanted to talk about it a little bit. We've got we got a little bit of time left.
Yeah,
Here's
go
what's
ahead.
gonna happen with the release of the files that are gonna go mostly unredacted. It is what it is. The Senate snuck in. I don't know how they snuck it in without sending it back to the House for approval, but whatever. We'll deal with that contraption, whatever
Sean.
they
At
did.
this point, this whole thing was hardwired. They're going to
Yes.
follow the rules. They're
Well,
just going to do it. Yeah,
it was really all again. It was back to a psyop.
right.
We're gonna get Trump. We're gonna damage Trump with this. And what you're gonna find out is that Trump had nothing to do with anything that had to do with Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking. What you'll find out is that yes, Trump, Epstein was a member of Mar-a-Lago, and then he kicked it. But
Freak his ass out, right?
here's what the other things you're going to find out is a bunch of innocent victims and a bunch of innocent people also had text messages and phone calls and even meetings in New York or in Arizona or New Mexico, I believe is the place of one of his ranches with Jeffrey Epstein because they were looking for campaign funding. And then we get into somebody getting called out on the House floor today, Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh, God, that guy.
In 2013, he went and sought a meeting, a dinner with Jeffrey Epstein after Jeffrey Epstein already been convicted of sex crimes and had to register as a offender. He had
That was
already served some time, and
early 2000s.
Hakeem Jeffries in 2013 says, "Hey, man, I'd really like to. Yeah, like, can we get dinner? I'd really like to run some ideas by you because he wanted Epstein to fund his campaign.
Of
Then you
course he
start
did.
looking at Jamie Plaskett, right, who was texting live, had his phone number, texting Epstein live during a
They
hearing.
got
Oh, I do remember that.
video
Yeah.
of them reading his comments, and then they're showing her looking at her phone and repeating what he said. I mean, she's dead to rights.
Right.
And,
So,
and,
well,
and
no,
go
no.
ahead.
What's gonna come out? Dude, there's gonna be a huge mess. But what you're gonna find is that the Democrats were in bed with Epstein the
With
whole
Epstein.
time, but
Oh,
they think for some reason they're gonna finally get Trump this time by releasing the. And they're not. They're just going to get crushed with it, at least on social media. And hopefully, some of that social media makes it to the media that the old people watch. But
Oh,
I'm doubtful, but I hope so.
God.
well,
It's almost like
listen.
watching the Coyote and
The de-
Roadrunner every time, every episode, every story you see from these guys. It's like the Democrats are the Coyote and Trump's the Roadrunner, and it just no matter how many times they attack, something always happens, and it goes back in their face, and end up under the rock.
Edward, the secret here is that he actually listens to his voters. They
Yeah.
don't.
Well,
They don't. So he ends up on the 80 side of every 80-20 issue. and they end up trying to govern against the will of the people. And Rush said this a bunch of times. I've never seen an administration more willing to govern against the will of the people. And Paul's hero Bill Clinton would do that, but he would never go all the way with it. He'd sneak some stuff in there and cut some corners. Willie was a trimmer. I mean, always.
Well,
But on the big stuff, like welfare reform and that, he'd go ahead and go along to save his ratings. Obama never gave a shit about his ratings because he had the magic melanin, and the media psyop was that it's so great to have a black president that we shouldn't pay any
wait,
attention to
a
what he's
black
actually
president
doing.
that actual African Americans said that dude's not black.
Exactly.
He's
But
not really.
no, yeah.
No, they did. They're like
They
they
did say that.
always, even the celebrities. That dude's not black. Like they'd be asked about Barack Obama. How does it feel to have the first black president? And you could name your black celebrity. Like just name one, and they would be in the interview, and they'd say that dude's not black.
Remember, I have a scientific background of sorts as a pharmacist.
Mhm.
Barack Obama is every bit as white as George fucking Zimmerman. Okay? The,
Can we
the
call
guy
by his
who,
real
the
name
guy
now?
who shot Martin, the guy who shot Trayvon Martin, the white Hispanic, Barack Obama is every bit as white as George Zimmerman.
Well, he's
He
got a white
is.
mother.
And Tariq Nasheed, who's one of the militants, and
Yeah.
Tahiti Coates, or those guys, they always talk about foundational Black Americans. Well, what they mean is someone like Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
You know, big, stupid. I mean, just
No, you
overall
can say that.
you know what I mean. Not
Uh-huh.
slick like Obama at all. Okay, we're talking about the boys in the hood, so to speak. That's
Yeah.
what that's their idea
Well,
of a
Biden
foundation.
coined it. He's the first African American, is quote, that is good looking and speaks well
Who?
Oh, and
Who's that?
clean. He said the word clean.
and clean.
And
Barack
clean.
Joe Biden said that about Barack Hussein
Obama.
Obama.
Yeah, he did.
The guy could not string two sentences together. It annoyed
So
me.
that's why he had a teleprompter. He had a teleprompter for his morning prayers.
Oh
I
God, I
mean,
know
seriously, the
that.
guy.
He
I
was
mean,
well. He was well trained. I gotta tell you.
Let's get back into the psyop. The uhs from Barack Obama were made to make him seem more normal and
right.
not well trained at what he was going to do, just like Zoran Mondani.
Oh God, yeah.
It's the same. And by the way,
Yeah, like all you guys could go, you're a fucking conspiracy theorist. No,
Ah,
I watch what's going on, and I watched it with Barack Obama, and I'm watching the exact same thing
it's the
happen
same
with
thing. It's the exact same thing.
Mandani.
It's the exact same thing. And Edward's favorites, the libtard women, are just swooning.
oh
I
God,
mean,
I
you're
know.
a young Jewish girl in New York City, and you're all about Zoran. Like,
I
it's
know.
like,
It just doesn't get
okay.
any
I mean,
dumber than
they're
that.
calling what chickens for KFC. Yeah.
Well, apparently, young Jewish women forgot what Muslims did to Jews.
And two
And
years after 10/7, they must have missed it.
they're so uninformed, misinformed, no form, no nothing. These people, I can't believe you can't. There's no way on earth you can be that dumb, but apparently in New York you can. I just
It's
can't believe.
Edward. I don't think of it as dumb. I think of it as ignorant.
Well,
The fact is that the psyop has been that spectacularly
well,
successful
God,
that if
yeah,
you
I know.
go to their school, you browbeat their parents into submission with media and everything like that. You have people that have no worldly idea of what's actually happening to them.
Well,
Well, you know
right.
what?
Wait, hold on. You get so you also brought up the schools, right? Now you got local school zoning, right, that are asking for referendums from states, and they all vote for this shit. They all go, yeah, Well, they don't really vote for it. The teachers union shows up and votes for it on
Yeah.
an off year so that they get more fundings to propagandize your kids. And it's like we if I had to I took about an hour and I thought about this for both of you. And I think the American government at least is 1/5 socialist at this point by the fact that we pay first for healthcare and then education at a federal level. And I really think we're getting closer to 2/5 socialist, which is the ultimate goal of socialism,
I know.
Sure.
right?
Oh,
But
no, communism, but yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
well,
socialism.
you
You're
gotta get to
almost,
socialism to get to communism.
and once you're
Right.
at socialism, you're not that far away from communism, anyways. I mean, it's just one
You
step.
you would you would know, yeah.
Well, I know, and we're almost there. I mean, that can happen any day. We can wake up and our borders closed down. Oh, you can't go to the States. You can't leave
Dude,
the
next
country because you
next
have
time
some.
your truckers protest, they're gonna roll tanks in.
You
I
might
mean,
that might not be that far off. Laugh as you may, but that's not such a far out thought. It could actually
Last time
happen.
was just the Mounties trampling the ladies in the wheelchair, right? Next time they'll bring the tanks.
Yeah, because who are they? They're just in our way.
well,
That's
and
just the
they
attitude.
they froze the bank accounts. Hey, to keep it true to Edward's Tuesday show, we got to close this one out. I will not close the room if you guys want to talk, but let's close the show
Okay.
out.
Now, yeah, one more point I want to make before you go. We're making a paradise for parasites. That's a new phrase I picked up. I think it's very true. And that's what socialism brings us before we fall into the communism.
I need to
That-
use AI. I need to find an AI for music so I can make a rock and roll song that says exactly what you just said.
Wow.
Nice for parasites. Yeah.
Yeah.
That will be the
What was
band
that?
name. That will be the band
Yeah.
name, and there'll be a bunch of really weird hair colored hippies with like punk
Tie-dye
rock
shirts.
hairstyles.
Yeah.
Libtard nuclear rockers. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Perfect.
yes.
I want it.
All right, let's close this one out.
Very good, gentlemen.
I'll leave the room open, fellas. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I got all of that resolved. Have a good night, everybody.